Hi everyone, it's Shell from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be creating 2 cards for Valentine's Day using some non-traditional supplies. So here's a picture of the 2 cards we're going to use, and the stamp sets we used are Lawn Fawn's Seriously Awesome, Honeybee Stamps Paper Hugs, as well as a Lawn Fawn die called Polka Hearts Backdrop. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp out all the images in Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink using the Misty. They're stamped onto some Bristol Smooth White cardstock, and I'm going to ink them up. This is the first time I've inked most of them up except for the cereal bowl, so I did have to ink them up a couple times. And once I am happy with the way that all came out, I'm going to put it to the side to let that ink dry for a couple of minutes and work on the background. So I cut out a piece of pink cardstock with that hearts background. I also cut out a piece of red cardstock, but I didn't use that in this video because I didn't like the color backer piece that I had chosen, and I decided to do something totally different with the other background. So this tool here is supposed to help get those hearts out, but it didn't work, and I just went back to my Tim Holtz pokey tool and poked all the hearts out by hand. I do now have a lot of pieces for a shaker card. So now I'm taking my Honeybee Bee Creative Glue, going all around the edges and in some of the spaces in the middle, and gluing it to this red piece of cardstock. Oh, I thought that I was going to leave a little border around all the edges because I thought it was actually a little bit, the background was a little bit smaller than the card front, but it's not. It's exactly 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. So I will cut off those extra pieces off screen. I did leave my coloring in just in case you guys wanted to see them. I also wanted to do a little bit of story time, but before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit about the colors we're going to use. For the cereal bowl, I did use a C3, a C1, and C0. For the milk, I will use a C00 because even though it is white, it will have a little bit of shading in it. And then for the spoon, I used a C3 and a C5. And then the marshmallow heart pieces, I used some R's and some RVs. And then for the heart, I will use some, I think it was R 89, 59, and 39. And then for the arms, it was E50 and... oh, there was another color, but I think I do show the caps on there. So while you're watching me color, I thought that I would do a little bit of story time. You may have noticed that I have some new Copic markers. I was able to get to Hobby Lobby the day after their inventory, and the store opens at 9. I got there a little after 9, and the manager was pulling the markers out of the case, and I was like, oh good, he's marking them down. So I went to go look in the bin, and the woman that was standing there with him, who was an employee, she said, oh, these are for a lady. She was actually waiting at the door. So she was very serious about it, and the woman ended up wanted 2 of each marker. So there were some colors that unfortunately I did not get, which is whatever. It's unfortunate. There were some that I really needed that unfortunately I was not able to get, but I got some of them, so I'm happy with what I got. But she was waiting at the door, and the woman that was working there was like, oh, she's gonna resell them. So I said, I know a lot of people do that. I said, I promise you that I'm using all of the markers that I am going to purchase. The only markers that I got more than one of that same color are the ones, like the C colors that I needed, because those are ones that I use very, very often. And I got some of the E brown markers because I feel like I use them all the time. So those are the ones that I go through the fastest. So I did get those. So I was able to get some of them. I went up to the register, and they were still checking out the woman that got 2 of each marker. And when she left, the manager had come up to the front, and he said to the cashier, how much did she spend? And the woman said it was over $600. It was almost $700 on Copic markers. That's how many she got. I got 66 markers, so you can just imagine how many she got. It was just insane. She had an entire bag full of them, and it was like bursting at the seams. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So she probably is reselling them, but whatever, it's each his own. There's one other Hobby Lobby that's near me, so I'm hoping that maybe they didn't have inventory yet, and maybe I'll be able to go and get some of the e-markers that I wasn't able to get. But right now I'm happy with what I got, so I was lucky to do that. And then the other thing that happened last week was that my new couch got delivered. So I have been on the hunt for a couch for months and months and months. It's probably been almost a year that I've been talking about doing it. My couches are ones that I bought when I first moved into this house. So it's been 8 years. It's actually almost been 9 years that I moved into the house, and they're showing, they're starting to show their wear a little bit. And I had gone to North Carolina over in the fall, and went to a Lovesac store and fell in love with a couch. But the couch that I wanted was over $10,000. So I said, there is no way that I'm spending that. I just couldn't do that, and just can't conceivably find a reason to spend that much money on a couch. So I found another company that is very similar to it. It has a similar concept. So it's modular furniture. And I know there's a bunch of furniture places out there like this. They had amazing reviews. So I ordered from them. They had a really, really great sale in December. So December to January, they had a really great sale. Ordered, I think, the beginning of January, they had like a Christmas to New Year's sale. Ordered in January, it got delivered last week. My brother came over, helped me put it together, and one of the pieces is the first piece that I opened had a repaired rip in it, and then there was like rust in the channels because it doesn't have butterfly clips. It just kind of slides into each other. So they have a bracket on the arm or the back, and then they have a bracket on the base, and you're supposed to slide them in. And by the way, on their video, they show a pregnant woman putting it together in 15 minutes. Well, my brother and I both have master's degrees. We're both very smart people, and it definitely took us a lot longer than 15 minutes to put this couch together. So I'm thinking that this pregnant woman did not put the couch together in 15 minutes, and they just said that she did, or she had lots and lots of practice, because they're all interchangeable pieces, so you have to kind of figure out how it all goes together. Anyway, the couch is together minus the one end piece. So I've been calling, and it's just been calling and emailing to try to get this fixed. And, they said that they were going to, all the reviews said that their customer service was fantastic. Well, they offered me money instead to keep the piece, because obviously that's easier for them than having to send it out. And I said no, because it's ripped, and what happens if it rips again? And also it does not fit, so we could not put the pieces together. So now I have to wait another 2 weeks or so to get this piece, and hopefully that fits, and hopefully it's that piece that was the problem and not the bracket. So we shall see, but I am liking it. It is down, and you have to fluff it up a lot, so that's definitely something that there's going to be kind of an upkeep to it. But if you want to know, I got the couch from Albany Park. It's the Kova edition if you want to see it, and I am really, really liking it so far. Lucy loves it. She sleeps on it all day. So that's really what's going on here. Okay, so let's get back to the card. I am now going to go and cut these out. I could have used my brother's Scan and Cut, but I decided not to. I cut out the heart as well as the cereal bowl, and then I used my paper trimmer to cut down the sentiments. I'm going around all of the edges because, as you could see, I did not do the best cut job with that. I'm going around all the edges with that black marker to kind of give it that finished edge. I really think it makes a big difference when you do that. I also left that little highlight area, so I went over it with my white gel pen, and I'm going to add it to the front of this card. Or I was going to. I wasn't really sure. I was going back and forth trying to figure out, do I want that covering up a lot of this background, because that big heart took up more than half of the background, and I was like, well, I really like it, but it's kind of a little simple, so maybe I'll just add the cereal bowl. So I was trying to figure out if the cereal bowl and those 2 sentiments would look better on it. Spoiler alert, if you saw the pictures in the beginning, you know that the cereal bowl is the one that goes on there. So I went ahead and fussy cut that out. I've been finding myself doing a lot more fussy cutting lately, and these Fiskars spring-loaded scissors are really, really helpful with that, because a lot of times I have issues with my wrists and it just makes it so much easier to cut things out, and I think I get a smoother line. So again, I'm going around all the edges with that same marker just to give it that finished look, and keep going back and forth. What do I want to do? And there's the red background that I did initially, but I didn't like the heart on the back of that. I didn't like the reds together, and I really liked the cereal bowl on the pink. So I went ahead and did that, and then did something else with the big heart that we did. So I cut out the sentiments off camera, and now I'm going to be putting some Honeybee Bee Creative glue on the back of that. For some reason, this bottle keeps getting clogged, and it also, this is the one that is exploded all over the place. So I don't know. I think this one maybe was just a bad one, but it gets clogged every once in a while. And then when I go to unclog it, and then the glue won't stop coming out. So it's either like all or nothing with this guy, but I think it's at the very end. So I'm going to go ahead and add the sentiments on, and add the card front onto the card base, and it measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. So this card front will just go right on top of it with no border around it. So that is the first card that we did. And then I went through my stash. I pulled out some supplies for Nora. Nora needs to do a unicorn card box, and she asked me to bring stuff over. Funny enough, she got a watch for Christmas where she can call like 10 people, and she called me the other day while she was on the bus. She couldn't hear a thing that I was saying, but she must have thought at that moment she needed to tell me that she needed craft supplies from me. So she went ahead and called me at like 8:30 in the morning when she was on the bus. From that paper pack, I picked out the heart background paper and used the deckled edge die from Honeybee Stamps, cut that out, and then cut a coordinating pink cardstock out to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, glued them together, and then glued them to the card front. And I was trying to figure out here if I wanted to use the stamp Consider This a Paper Hug from that same stamp set, but I decided against it and just wanted to do something simple inside. I'm using the Honeybee Bee Creative Glue again to glue that heart down to the front, and then we are going to stamp on the inside Happy Valentine's Day, and it's from a Colorado Crafts Company stamp set, and I apologize, I don't remember the name of the stamp set. I know that the stamp set has a large set of lips on it, and then there's also a Marilyn Monroe quote in there. So it's an older set, and if I can find it, I will list it in the more information section below the video. So make sure you check it out if you're interested. I stamped it out in Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink, and I'm going to stamp it on both of the cards. So that'll finish off the cards for today. You guys are going to have to let me know what you think. Do you like the way that I did them, or do you think that the cereal should have gone on the red card base, card front, and then the heart should have gone on the pink one, or do you like it on the pattern paper? Tell me what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below, and I'll see you again real soon for another video. Bye!